All right, welcome. Hello, let me just make sure. Can you hear me? Testing. All right, welcome. Okay, sounds good. Okay, welcome everybody. I am Zendark. I am your resident enchanter and DM tonight. Here on A Tale of D20s, we're continuing our Radiant Citadel session 4 with our heroes here who will introduce themselves in just a moment. Um, Thanks, Mike TV, for that first redeem. And yeah, we'll get back into this adventure to see how our players handle all of the events that are currently unfolding. So, again, I'm Travis or Zendarek, as you know me here. And let's pass to our cast to introduce themselves. Andy?
Yeah.
Why don't you kick us off?
Hi. Happy to be back and happy to be getting back into our adventure through the shadows of the Radiant Citadel.
Awesome, thank you. Glad to be back too. I'm glad. I know we sort of had a little bit of breaks, and then there was cons and some sicknesses, so I'm ready to get back in the swing of things too. Oh, and we have a team already. Thanks, Colonel Blah, for the hydrate. If you have, everyone take a sip of water and sit up straight. And with that, let's go to our next local hunter.
Yeah, I played well. I'm excited to be playing again. I was one of those people that were sick and preventing the game from moving forward, and I'm happy to just be better.
Oh, stop. We all need time to take a break and recuperate sometime. So glad to have you back and to jump back into it. Let's move on along, Zek.
Hey everybody, it's Zektown, here today to play Vilya, the super fun elf ranger horizon walker troublemaker to be seen.
Awesome, yeah. And last but not least, we have Omar, our resident tailweaver, playing Aura today.
Hi everyone, Omar here playing Aura, the crystal dragonborn samurai. I just got back from PAX, which was great. Caught something there, definitely not feeling 100%. So love to be a player and just go on for the ride. But excited to be here.
Well, glad you're here. Glad you're well enough to come hang out. Sorry, got the con crud. Hopefully you recover quickly, but them's the breaks. That's the price we pay for being a nerd, a social nerd. But I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, we did a lot of networking. We made so many new friends for the channel, so can't wait to get all that in there and stuff good stuff coming in the future for ATOD.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here first, folks. More awesome stuff coming for ATOD. So, with that intros out of the way, let's jump into our recap and dive into the Radiant Citadel. So let me pull up my notes. Here they are. All right. So our party last time was doing a little bit. Let me put. This is a little too upbeat. Let me make it a little dark for a moment.
We're not sad enough yet.
We're not sad enough yet. I didn't put on the Between Life and Death song.
We love it dark. Ooh.
Right, yeah. We love it moody. So you guys recovered the cultist's body and brought it back to the guild hall and decided to use the spell provided with you Speak with Dead. And from your interrogations, you learned the phrase, embrace the sickness, for it's the only truth in this world. You learned that there was a leader supposedly feigning a position of power named Tovash. You're not exactly sure who he is impersonating, but you have a few suspicions. Through this, you think that this person was in the Passage of Respite, which is an amalgamation of people from the various groups and cultures around who man the main docking entry first starships to come to the Radiant Citadel. So, well, this music is now too much. Let's calm it down a little bit. And realized that this person was investigating or impersonating someone there. You used your connections with your guild master to meet Captain Halema Zumhana, whom is the captain of the Passage of Respite. She met up with you pretending to be a messenger, and through some magics from your teams, you determined that she was not charmed or under the effects of a spell, but through conversation you determined that there was some fuckery going on with her mind and with her memories. Some things sort of stood out, and you realized that, or made her realize that there could be some things that were brushed over or taken away and hushed and hidden, which seemed odd. And now that light has been shown on it, it's more difficult to sort of reconcile. But you've helped her sort of turn that page or start that processing. During this encounter, Aura ran into Phobrak Cavethane and Muknar Dost, which were two off-duty police officers whom were just sort of relaxing, that once Aura approached and made chummy with, sort of like a mentor cop, a good guy. He sort of spilled some secrets to her, to which, with some illusion magic, our other players here were able to overhear. Using that information, you guys sort of determined who knows what, and that there's some weird things going on, and tensions are high in the Passage of Respite. There have been ships coming in and out of a lot more frequently as of the past 6 months or so, which is very unusual when you look at the multiple year history. They're much less frequent than that. And so it's gotten a lot of people on edge and a lot of scrutiny on what's coming and going, all overseen by a specific few people. With that, your group has decided to sort of process this information and decide the next steps and best way to sort of smoke out the Confederates among the citizens here of the Radiant Citadel. So, with that said, we'll pick up with our players here, Eric, Aura, Vilya, and Thordal, plus Vin. We'll say that you guys are back at the guild house. You are in more one of the second or third floor offices, sort of where you did the interrogation, a private space that's under, lock and key, magical lock and key, so to speak. So that way you guys know you're safe and you can discuss, next steps and what you want to do.
Actually, Travis, I have a question first.
Sure.
Last time we played, we met the second in command. I don't remember her name, but her nickname is Drama.
Yes. Oh, yes. You also did meet her too. Andromeda.
Oh, Andromeda Keaton. Okay.
Yes.
How long has she been second in command?
She has been with the guild almost as long as the captain.
Okay.
She's been with the guild for at least 20 years. We'll say.
Okay, because sorry, I just remembered okay, wait, she was pestering him with a bunch of bullshit he hated. Second in command. Wait a minute. But okay, if she's
right, I can see. Yeah, no, I can see how we've made a few second in command links there too, but that was unintended.
She fits a profile, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, she fits a profile. No, Andromeda made her fresh appearance because she was community made, meta above board. She was made a community made character, and it also just sort of fits. I feel like the guild leader had more of a serious but friendly, relaxed vibe. So I felt like a high-strung second in command makes sense, and drama, the astral tiefling just felt perfect. And so
As long as she's been here a while, there's no real question about her loyalties. But I just wanted to make sure it wasn't. Oh yeah, 4 months ago.
Right. Yeah. No, she's been here for, we'll say, like 2 decades at
Cool.
least.
Cool. Okay.
No, that's a good thought too. So, yeah, but you did speak with her because she is very well versed. She's proficient in lots of skills. You know that she's very well read. She's, as her nickname implies, drama. She's very serious. She sort of can be a little high strung, but she also is the second in command for a reason. She's very smart. She's a very tactical person. And
I was just
knows how to run a ship. You know what I mean?
You need the serious one.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So we'll say the 4 of you just sort of convened for the day. You had your, we'll say, we left off with you guys.
Just finished talking things out with the captain, and we're I think the agreement was we were going to come back and take a rest, but yeah, it makes sense to sort of conclude for the day, like run over what we...
Yeah, exactly. So we'll say that you guys, it's late evening, not late evening. We'll say it's like 8 p.m. You guys are sort of winding down before your rest so you can talk and decide what you want to do next.
Aura, did you ever hear back from your retainers?
Well, actually, I've not heard back from them yet, but I am quite excited to see what they learned from the trade district, to see what's the inners, outs of what's happening in the Radiant Citadel. They should be arriving soon, though. But then I told them to stay late, around midnight. I didn't know how long we would take with the captain, so they might be a bit.
In that case, might be worth putting it off, discussing it in the morning instead. Based on what we've learned, Seymour, probably Tovash, isn't due back at work for another 2 days or 3 days. I don't remember.
Correct.
In the interim,
yes.
I think he's still our best lead unless your retainers turn up whatever place the cultists were staying at before the attack. If we don't have any alternatives, I would suggest that first thing in the morning we head over to the housing area around the passage. Just set ourselves up and see if we can find, what was he, a red dragonborn with a broken horn? And a tail.
Mm-hmm.
There can't be too many people matching that description.
From there, are we wanting to follow him, break into his place, and see if there's anything there? What do we... I feel like we might be a bit conspicuous all following somebody as a group. I mean...
Oh no, we would not be all together. We should split up. Like, knowing what we know, there's several neighborhoods. And... yes, you're correct. 4 of us lurking in a group would both be bad at covering and also good for drawing attention. No, I think we should split up and each take an area, and then when we find him, well, what we do from there could depend on a lot of things.
I mean, why don't we just go and just, state our business? I mean, he has nothing to hide, then he has nothing to be worried about. And, a sword does speak volumes, if you get my drift.
True. But I think we should consider that a last resort. These people have no compunctions about dying for their cause. I don't think that threatening him with a sword will get him to tell you anything.
I mean, you don't have much faith in my sword, but no, fair enough.
That's true. I did see you do wonders with that sword against that weird owl.
Oh, I have no doubt that you could kill this man. I don't know that that would be enough to make him talk, though.
Ah,
If they have no fear of death, well, there are other things a man can fear, but I don't think you're that kind of person.
I think we would probably tip our whole hand.
No, I think the
Not-
smart... Sorry, go ahead.
Not to mention, we also don't have another scroll of Speak with Dead.
True. No,
fair enough.
if we see him leaving his house, it would be a good idea to then break into it and check to see if there's anything useful or incriminating.
I should have asked while we were at the bar if there was any defining things carried out in person. Completely forgot about that.
Red Dragonborn with a tail and a broken horn is pretty fucking defining. Like,
I'm more so thinking about a specific object I can magic track, so I can find out where he lives instead of us hoping we.
That's a good.
Door.
If they have individualized badges, we might be able to find him with that. If they have some sort of token of authority.
These all would have been great questions.
Yes, in retrospect, good question to ask, to have asked back then, but, well, we didn't think of it, so.
We could, it's probably large neighborhoods. I guess the best solution is we all sort of split up and then we see them. Does anybody have any means of magically communicating?
I have a raven familiar who can carry messages and through whose eyes I can see. I do not have any ability to send messages over long distances.
It's probably fine.
What we could do is this. We could have 3 of us post up in dense neighborhood areas where we have, find the best sight lines. We should leave early. And then the third person just wandering around in between the various positions. When we spot him, wait for the third person to come by, and they'll notify the rest of the group and have us come running. It's not ideal, but it's probably the best we can do without drawing too much attention to ourselves.
Does anybody know if there's at least a section of the city that overlooks the district he's located?
It looks like it's the highest section. The Passage of Respite seems to be at the top of the inhabited area.
I guess.
Now, the question is, do we want to follow him, or do we want to go directly back to his place, search it, and then wait for him to return, and then either follow or confront him?
Well, I, for one, am not really much for the kind of tiptoeing around the shadows, this heavy armor and everything, and she'll move up and down, ching, 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 and all that. So, I'm for the direct approach. So if there's like a team for that, probably that's what I'm best suited for.
I can always help a little bit, but you're probably right. And as he says that, the shadows grow a little darker.
If worse comes to worse, I can just follow him invisibly.
That would be risky. Are you up for the task?
I don't see why not. I mean...
Well, it's just... whatever group catches him, or...
Well, I don't know that we're interested in catching him just yet.
Well... catches him leaving his house.
Oh.
I feel like we should be in groups of 2. You can have your Raven familiar with one, and I can have, or this is all coming from Vin. I can have Vin follow the other, so we can communicate with each other.
That's a good point. We can get in touch pretty quickly and get on his tail pretty quickly. So let's say we do that. We split up so that Vin and my Raven can remain sort of within sight of one another. That way, yeah, if we find him, we can get in touch pretty much instantly. But again, do we want to try following him first, or do we want to try breaking into his apartment first, or do we want to try doing both? Because normally I would say it would be better to have 2 people following him so they could trade off. But since I can go invisible, I don't really think we need to have a spare. The 3 of you could break into his apartment or his home or whatever, search that, whereas I could keep tabs on him. And with the Raven, I could then let you know if he comes back early.
I mean, sounds like a good plan as any.
I think I like the idea. If we find out where he lives, maybe checking it out a little. I'm slightly with you alone, but
Sorry, I missed what you just said.
I'm slightly nervous with you going alone.
If he heads into somewhere shady, obvious hideout or what have you, I'll play it safe and not follow. But as long as he sticks to public areas, I don't see how that would be a problem. He's been undercover for multiple months. I doubt he'll just throw down in the middle of the street.
Or worse, you can't remember what happened this past day as your memories were wiped.
True enough. Though if I remember correctly, both of those involve being close to him. And I'll try to avoid that if possible. So any other thoughts, considerations?
Well, something that I can perhaps illuminate on this subject is that I can, as you all may have learned, I can speak into your mind. Now, you can't talk back, and sorry I did so without your permission before. I should have asked for consent. But if I'm keeping watch, I can always reach out to you without them knowing, if that works.
It does. What is the distance?
Oh,
How far can we be?
You can be like about 30-ish feet. I have to make sure you're close enough for my mind to kind of reach out to you.
And do you need to be able to see us?
Yes, so if you're behind a wall or something like that, maybe not. So maybe stay close to a window or some place that I can keep you in my sights.
Makes sense.
Vin chimes in. He goes, Thordal has a way of contacting people over great distances. He can reach pretty much as far as we need to go if it's needed, of course. Yeah, I think it works. If I'm not mistaken, it works for a couple of miles, so.
Wow. Yeah, okay, so Vin is great for long-distance communication, then.
So, sounds like our best plan is to try and get some rest now so we can leave early in the morning and hopefully catch them when they're leaving in the morning and then
Agreed.
raid their, or at least try and find where they live and then follow. Now, if we can't find where they live, what we all just sort of follow? But, you know, less stealthy team stays.
What we can do in that case is I will follow him invisibly. You follow my bird.
It's a good idea. Right. Well, I guess that means I'll see you all in the morning.
Early in the morning. Travis, what time do people start heading out to the streets? I know that it's never going to be completely dead, but like, when is the beginning of morning rush, so to speak?
I would say it has like a similar like schedule to like what we have. So there's like a 7 p.m. or sorry, 7 a.m. You know, that's when people are out and about and going. Like, you know, 6:30. Some people are starting to wake up, but by like 7, 8 o'clock, like the world is moving. You know what I mean?
So basically, 7 would be the earliest that people would start heading out to their jobs outside of a few unusual cases.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I move that we meet here at 6 in the morning. We want to be in position by 7. Maybe he's a regimented person, early riser even on his days off. Maybe we're going to be sitting around for 5 hours because he sleeps till noon. But the last thing I want is for him to be out and about while we're still on our way there. Though if we do run into him, that's fine too. If that happens, by the way, play it cool. I'll have the bird shadow him. Like, if we see him coming towards us, just keep walking. Don't engage or what have you.
That sounds like a good plan.
All right. With that in mind, I think it's time for me to, well, start taking it a little easier. I'll see you all in the morning. He'll sort of like nod and head back to his room.
All right. So you head away. Gonna get a good night's rest before your early wake up. Is there anything else anyone else wishes to do this evening?
Other than waiting for the, I can't remember their name for the life of me, but my crystal gem, cobalts. Other than waiting for them to arrive, just bedtime for Aura.
Raya and Lumio?
Yes, Raya and Lumio. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. So they will come back as you instructed them to early in the morning. So they'll have stayed out in the Trade Discal sort of, which is like not the life of the city, because there's a few, prominent places, but that is where, as the name implies, lots of trading, lots of eating, lots of, just activities that sort of keep people going. So they'll stay out probably a little later than midnight and return back around like 2 in the morning. So you may or may not be sleeping when they arrive. But do you want a debrief now, or would you just expect it in the morning from them?
I'll expect it in the morning. Aura goes to bed early and rises even earlier.
All right. So you head to bed. Vilya, Thordal, anything that you guys want to do?
I sort of just nothing too crazy. Head back to my room and just spend some time with Vin before I get to my meditative state.
All right.
I am going to go trance.
Okay. So you go and into trance and head to rest. Same thing with you, Thordal, after you finish up, and you all get a long night's rest. Let me go to the tracker, make sure you all get that in game. Oops, that's not. Here we go, and long rest. So, you guys were back at the guild hall relatively early, so you can each head to sleep early enough so that way you don't have any any grogginess, any exhaustion when you wake up in the morning. And as Eric requested, everyone sort of arrives by 6 a.m. so that way you guys can, make your way through the city into your various places early enough, so that way you can have eyes on where you suspect Mr. Seymour to be. So with that, several hours come and go in a blink of an eye. You regroup at the wee hours of the guild hall and find yourselves in the foyer.
There's definitely Vin, has a little basket on his back full of breakfast burritos he brings everybody. Because they're only 4 hours, so he's like, all right, here's your breakfast burrito, here's yours, that one's vegan, here's yours.
Thank you, Thornall. Thank you, Ben. Eric will chuck down a cup of coffee and head out with the rest. Actually, he's probably been down there for a while. He's an elf. He doesn't sleep.
The only person in our group who needs a full 8 hours or 6 hours is Aura. So.
And she takes the 6 hours because she spends
takes
the other 2 hours, all just 6 of it. Because the other 2 hours she gets up early and starts working out and doing her stretches behind in the training area.
All right, we're off.
All right. So, will you guys are up early, or when you're apart, when you've woken up, you find you go to sort of the training area, but you bypass the dormitory and peek in and find Raya and Lumio asleep in their beds because you've gotten up a little bit earlier than them.
They have much to learn. Rise and shine!
You hear groans from across the dormitory because they're not the only 2 people in there.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Wake everyone up in there.
So as you do that, you hear people groan out, "Aura!" and they throw pillows at you. And as you're shouting that, you get hit with like 3 or 4 pillows from various places across the bed.
Good morning to you all too. Isn't it a glorious day? The light shine upon the refraction's crest with its beautiful fractal glory.
Lumio, get her out of here. And with that, your Jade and Ruby. Oh, hold on, your Jade and Ruby kobolds quickly and groggily rise and say, Sorry. We didn't realize you were asleep when we returned. We were up very late for you. And they say, come on, can we just give you our report in our pajamas?
That's not proper attire for a squire, a knight in training, the 2 of you. But I'll let it pass for today. Let this be a lesson, though. You wake up fully armored and ready for the day, because if you stay ready, you don't have to what?
Get ready.
Exactly. Oh, you know the mantra. So please, report.
Okay, they lead you out into the hallway. So the rest of the people can go back to sleep. They retrieve their pillows as you see a bunch of groaning people return to sleep. They groggily yawn their, toothy my yawns. So there's lots of things that are happening. Apparently, there's an apartment complex just north of the Path of Exile that's residents. The whole apartment complex is apparently moving out off plane, so they were just giving all their stuff away. at the trade disco, they were routing people to come all throughout all wee hours of the day. It was so weird. We've never seen anything like it.
Leaving.
There's also.
Wow. Oh, sorry. Go on.
There was also Roya pipes up. There was also, similar people were also handing out free samples of. They were saying it was holy water they were gathering. It was, I don't know. They're saying since they live next to the Palace of Exile that it's special. Most people didn't really buy it, but I just thought it was weird. What else? What else? They sort of are yawning and scratching their head and eyes. They're saying, apparently there's not going to be any shipments of, apparently there's not going to be any shipments of meat for a while. And, what you call it? There's a low... a low ownership of meat on the Citadel, and we're not going to be getting that until the summer.
That is alarming. No more meat. Did they say why?
Apparently, there's been a herding problem, shepherding problem, and they sort of like bicker back and forth and squabble in Draconic. And the people that manage the sheeps in the material plane, they says that normally there's several herding towns and villagers that live around Arctos near in the forests as you approach the mountains. Apparently there's really good space and land for all of their prairie and whatever, but there's been they said that the farmers are neglectful, or the shepherds are neglectful, and they haven't been making their local shipments, so we're not exactly sure what's going on.
Curiouser and curiouser.
And so these are like all like just several separate events that they sort of overheard or witnessed or like took part in throughout the evening.
Well, good work. You found out a lot of information. I'm sure we'll be able to use this in our coming investigation. Keep up the good work, you two, and please put on something more suitable of someone of your stature. And remember, smiles and bright. It's another great day here on the Radiant Citadel.
Praise be the light.
Praise be the light indeed. Now go on.
Praise be the light. All right. We will uphold it in your honor. And they salute in a tired way.
And I salute again, but very steadfast and hard and true, and just to show them how it was done before, turning around and finding the rest of the group.
As you turn around, one of their heads is like nodding down and falling back asleep. They got very few hours since they returned. They returned, very late. And so they head back into their room and crawl back in bed.
Got it.
All right, so then you can make your way to Thordal, who hands you a breakfast burrito.
Oh.
And the rest of your group is ready.
Well, thank you, Thordal. This is much needed. Something to give me a pick-me-up after my morning workout. Protein.
Right. Nobody picked the vegetarian burrito, so that's all that's left. Sorry.
Oh, no. I need meat. Strong and build the protein and the iron for my draconic heritage.
Ben
And
looks
eggs.
around.
Oh, wait, is it vegan or vegetarian?
Vegetarian.
Oh, you gave me vegetarian.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you. Oh.
I assume nobody picked up the vegetarian burrito, so.
Oh. Okay.
I assumed one of the elfier elves had picked that one.
What's the point?
Not
Okay,
to
I don't know why
worry.
I thought the hunter was going to take it. Never mind.
Not to worry, not to worry. Just take some of this rations of this jerky, slip it in there, and almost like a bacon burrito. Oh, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, the useful thing about burritos, we can eat them while walking. Let's head out.
All right, so it's approaching 6 a.m. We'll say it's like just a few minutes before, as you guys are leaving your guild hall and wrapping your way north towards the top of the Citadels. That's where you're going?
Yeah, the closest residential area to the Passage of Respite.
All right.
I keep saying respite. Are those buildings that are immediately around it? Are those like warehouses and other?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
So on the map, I'm just going to share it with you guys again. This is the most immediate area of like residences and buildings and shops and things. So this is the area that's closest directly to the Passage of Respite. Respite. What is it? You fucked me up now.
Respite. I think you've been saying respite. Okay.
Isn't it?
Either one I think can work. I just don't know which.
I think respite is like break.
Yeah, respite is like relief.
I enjoy
Respite.
all of this.
What is it?
I said I enjoy all of this. I'm not going to be helpful. I'm just going to... I'm
Respite.
just going to be over here.
It's respite. Yeah, respite is like break.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
that's
thought
what
it
I'm
was
gonna
respite.
say.
Yeah, it's respite.
Okay.
It's only when you like do something out of spite twice, then you call it the respite. That's
Oh my god.
Oh,
psychic
man.
damage for all of you.
Okay, so it looks like there's really no way we can cover this entire area with just the four of us.
Maybe there's one.
I'm looking for places that we could just plant people so that we could at least see him if and when he leaves. Now, is this purely residential, Travis, or are there businesses, like places to eat, places to shop, mixed in?
Like the majority of the Radiant Citadel is sort of like New York City, where there's like shops and residents and places to eat, and then there's like some greenery. There's more greenery than just Manhattan there, because there's greenery spread about, but it's like a sort of hodgepodge through the entire place. And then there's certain like very large buildings or certain places that are like known, like the Palace of Exile, the Mausoleum, the House of Convalescence, the Court of Whispers, because those are like large buildings. But pretty much everywhere else on the Citadel itself is sort of like some apartment buildings, some cafes, some warehouses, it's sort of like all about it. There's maybe north, like more towards the top here. Let me put like a square, like these buildings up here most likely would be more like warehouses or storage or shipping or things like that, because they're so directly close to the Passage of Respite, which has the security buildings and the immediate security forces and such. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a walkable mixed-use city that is great for people and terrible for us, because it means that he doesn't have to go very far. Okay.
And
did Aura share the information that her retainers?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that once we got along the way, that everything that what the retainer said about the apartment complex being drained out and all them leaving, these free samples of holy water, the meat shipments and the herder problems, all that was be conveyed to the group. I know, and it's just quite terrible. This is probably why I had vegetarian a burrito, but
That's why I couldn't find any meat in the kitchen.
That is really a problem. I'm not saying that is worse than finding out what's going on with all of this shenanigans with these dark cults, but And if it's not connected, we should also look into this meat problem.
You know, it's funny. My first thought was to look into the holy water or the entire apartment building worth of people leaving.
Yes, that too. Of course. Priority.
But
yes.
yeah, meat.
You guys, sorry not to interrupt. You guys do know that because of what this place is and where it is, meat is more of a like scarce delicacy. Like it's not as included in everything. Like vegetarian is like the norm, and occasionally like people will have meat or steaks in it. And like if you're adventurers or guild halls, like you guys probably purchase more meat, or are some of the people that are purchasing those cattle shipments, to specifically cook the way that you do. But the society as a whole, just because of where it is and everything has to be imported, it's more expensive, and that's why green space is afforded to most people. So lots of the green space you see are like home gardens or community space where people share and thrive and create stuff. So a scarcity of meat on this Citadel is like a thing in itself because it's already restricted. So I just wanted to give that additional context.
Place is so wholesome, it's kind of disgusting. Everyone has their garden. Oh, of course they do.
I mean, they try to.
Okay, so setting aside the square worth of warehouses, it looks like there's a street that runs like sort of along the middle all the way around the Citadel almost. And then there's 2 streets leading off of that, which are probably the central thoroughfares.
I might.
Now, Travis, could someone sitting in front of, like, I don't know how to put it. Oh, you know what? I can draw on this, can't I? Hold on just a second.
Well, is there like a tree or something in like a main walkway of this area? Perhaps just a really big tree that overlooks this area. Okay, can I? Is he talking?
I'm not.
Was I muted? Sorry.
Oh, you were, okay.
I'm seeing
I
your
was
lips move on stream. I was like, what?
Yeah. I'll say that this area that I circled and drew an arrow is. Let me clear this. Let me do it here. Enter drawing mode. This tree on the bottom, we'll say, is a rather tall tree and can sort of overlook and sort of see this general area. You see which one I'm drawing?
Yes, I would like to head over to said tree, and I place my staff on it, and my staff, the roots of it sort of sink into the tree as I cast Speak with Plants. And it sort of gives the tree a bit of the world tree energy as I calmly just say, have you seen where a red dragon born with a broken horn and a tail lives in this area?
Do you like have it for like an hour? Is it a certain amount of questions? How does it work?
You imbue plants within 30 feet of you with limited sentience and animation, giving them the ability to communicate with you and follow your simple commands. You can question plants about events in the spell's area in the past day, getting information about creatures that have passed, weather, and other circumstances.
Okay, so the past day or so, it says. Awesome. Okay, so you put your staff down, and as you described, the roots, the magics of it feed into the roots, and you can see the tree start to like sway, and its face opens up, or it's sort of the bark and the holes sort of open up a little bit to sort of look like blackened holes that sort of give like the silhouette sort of Grandma Willow style of like of a face sort of coming out of like the trunk of the tree, and it has a very slow vibe to it, and it says, "Hey there, man. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I haven't seen that dude in a few days. Maybe he's on break. He normally walks up. He's got a bad look on his face. Maybe it's 'cause his head's broken."
Yeah, that would do it. He probably has a headache all the time. Do you know which direction he would come from?
Yeah, you see that area over there with the big building and the dome?
I do.
My friends over there, they say that he's over there. His house is somewhere over there. And he's talking about this direction. Let me
Right.
get rid of this. He usually walks down this main thoroughfare and then goes north like that. Or he sort of like billows in the wind, and it sort of gestures like he walks towards me down this long corridor, and then it makes a L turn and goes north,
Great.
east.
You said you haven't seen him in the past couple of days? Felt his presence under
Yeah.
your roots? I don't know how it works.
Yeah. I got nothing to do but lots of watching, so I haven't seen him.
Well, you've been such a great help. Thank you so much. Is there anything I can
Oh,
do for you?
Oh no. I'm plenty happy here. Just make sure that the kids don't fall out of the tree branches too high. Give them a swing or something, and he sort of like gestures to like one of his branches to the side.
Great. I will put that on my list. Pull up my little notepad and quickly write "make swing on tree." That's super chill.
It'll give me a stretch and a sway there too. Kids got lots of energy. I like them.
Well, thank you for your time. And
Yeah, come back, my friend.
I
Bye.
grab my staff and pull it out, the roots of the sun tree, leaving the tree as the spell ends.
He sort of has this like happy like swing like look on his face as it sort of fades away, and the bark sort of recedes or grows back, and it sort of covers, and you can almost see where the eyes were and like the barky mouth that moved, but it's sort of now just looked like three big knots in the tree.
And I turned towards the group and I said, "The trees on the Citadel are so weird."
What'd they say?
Friendly enough? Or wait, was he speaking common, or was that all internal?
I don't know how the spell works.
Oh, well, okay. Trees in the weird.
Let me
Okay.
see what it says, because I don't know. It could have been.
It says communicate with you specifically.
I think only you know it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, only you
Okay,
heard
so
it.
he was like rustling at you, and you're like, thank you. Like,
I want to say I wasn't even saying anything. I was just staring at a tree and touching it.
Yeah, you saw Thordal plant his staff down, and you physically saw the roots grow out and like connect, and then like how he sometimes looks at you guys, you see him just look at this tree for like 5 minutes, and then Vin starts piping up.
Vin is like, God, the trees here are just so weird. Lots of information was found. And
oh, good.
I repeat everything that was said because it was a lot.
That is an observant tree.
I haven't seen him in a couple days. He actually lives over there, as Vin like points his nose in that direction. So our best bet is to kind of, I think, consolidate the search party to that area. At least we are setting up in the general vicinity instead of just, anywhere.
Definitely agreed. Let's head up that side of the road. Oh, Travis? What I was using that little pink pointer. was, would a person that was there, like at the intersection of that street in the middle and the longer street that runs, would a person standing right there be able to see the entire street?
Like look left and right and then forward. Like if you're standing at that T, you can see both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It's about what, like 1,000, maybe 1,200 feet. You know.
Yeah, I mean things wouldn't be super clear at either end of the street.
Yeah, so you're about halfway. You know, so if it's like 1,300 feet, about halfway. So it's like 700 feet or so in either direction. About another 700 feet up the T. Actually, look, I have it programmed in the on the thing itself. I use the same grid. So if I draw here, yeah, it's
Actually,
about 400 feet halfway through.
That's not bad at all. But fortunately, we don't really need to worry about that,
Yeah.
since we now have a pretty good idea of where he lives.
Also, neat trick for Fantasy Grounds that I saw a tip pop up the other day. If you hold your left and your right mouse button at the same time, like click them both and then drag, that creates the arrow.
Oh,
like
wow.
an arrow.
How do you
Like,
delete arrows quickly?
You can.
I just
Hit it again.
right-click.
Just do the same thing again.
Yeah, if you just do it again, it'll get rid of it.
Oh, nice.
And if you just click at the same time without actually dragging it, it'll get rid of it.
Awesome.
So then you can quickly point stuff out to each other on maps and stuff. But this one I programmed using the legend at the bottom, and if you zoom in, there's like a little circle. You'll see how much actual feet it is in case you need to calculate or think about that.
So let's head up to that side of the street first of all and
So
see
you're
what
heading
there is.
Here, this way.
Well, I mean, he gave us basically wrong way. Like he basically told us that he comes from there.
Yeah, he says he walks down this pathway and then heads up. He walks down from like the tree sees him coming down this corridor is what he says. So
Yeah.
you can reasonably discern that the person somewhere lives over here.
Right.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is let's head to like basically the base of that arrow right now and see what is around. Like, are there breakfast places? Are there like public seating? Is there sort of anywhere that a person could sit inconspicuously?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So as you guys walk up, you'll see that there is this tiny little hut right here in the center is sort of like a grab and go cafe like place. It has a sort of like a Starbucks in a in a mall, you know what I mean? Like it's where you can like walk up and go, and there's a few outdoor courtyard seatings where people to come and sit at a table. It's called Sugar Crystals Cafe. And you can see that some people are coming out of nearby buildings. There's some houses. You could see that there's, as you were walking up in the sort of trees in the space, south of that is sort of like an outdoor garden. You could see a few people sort of mucking around with some of their outdoor space. But that's sort of like you see like a little, sort of like gives like a bodega vibe. Grab a hot sandwich, grab a drink.
Oh, we should probably survey the area. Oh, by the way, Thordor, great work back there. I can tell you're really branching out with your skills.
Vin is just like, oh, brother, it's already starting.
But that said, he is correct. Very well done with the tree.
Vincent, he's always had a knack for communicating with the animals and the trees. And I mean, how do you think he met me? Convinced me to stay with him and all my good looks.
It's a fair point. At this point, we should probably start splitting up. Aura, would you mind grabbing a seat at the cafe?
Oh, certainly. I mean, I only had, what, a vegetarian burrito for breakfast? I can totally go for something a little bit more substantial here.
Excellent. If you see him coming, watch him until he goes out of sight, and then let us know.
Where will you all be? Within 30 feet where I can communicate with you? Or do I need to go searching?
Not likely. We'll be down this street. We shouldn't be far. Looks like we won't be out of sight, or at least most of us won't be. My suggestion is that one of us wait here, and the third maybe here. And that leaves one person to go between, just in case someone needs to, let them know something's going on.
I can be a good in between.
Yeah, you and Vin stand out more than I think Vilya or I do. We can most likely loiter without drawing too much attention.
So here.
And one person just sort of like walking circles.
Yeah,
All right.
I just walk up and down the street. I can do that.
And if it's not like an incredibly untrafficked area, maybe try going around the back too, at least every couple times.
Yeah, I could
Just-
do a circle that goes like, through here,
Yeah.
and then
You just don't want to cross the same way too many times
I
in a row. We also might want to trade off.
a big circle, like a square. That's what that shape's called.
Yeah. We also might want to trade off. Like you, after a couple rotations, you replace me and I'll start walking around. That way no one person has to, be seen standing for too long, and no one, sees the shirtless druid with the fox pass in front of their house 5 times.
Well, should we be stealthy? Should you guys be sneaky? Make sure you're unseen or something like that?
I
I'll
can
try and
cast
stay-
Pass Without Trace.
Ooh.
That only works for you, though. We would need to stay close, but that would be a good idea. On the other hand, we're going to be here a while. How long does that last?
an hour.
Yeah, he hasn't been down here in days, or he hasn't passed the tree in days. Now, maybe he's just been off and staying in his neighborhood, but it's also possible that he is lying low. I don't know how long we're going to be out here, and Pass with Trace will eventually end. No, I think it's better to just hide in plain sight, as it were. Just, find something normal to do and do it in such a way where you can still take a look at the river. At the road. I brought my sketchbook for my part, so...
Well, if we do see him and we do wish to tail him, then I suggest we follow what Vilya says and use this ability to tail them. But how do
no
we
question.
let each other know if someone sees it? Do you want me to just pop out and just shine bright with my flaming sword, or do you have other
No.
ways? No. Oh.
And
We'll be within sight of each other. So whoever sees him, wave to the nearest person. Just normal, sociable wave. And that will let us know that it's time to gather the rest of the party.
Dungeon Master,
Mm-hmm.
do I see any cafes and or bars that have an outdoor seating area in clear view that I could just post up and start a drinking.
Yeah, so that was this place that I pointed out before. We'll say,
Yeah, I think Aura's there.
Oh, Aura's
So
over
that's
there?
where Aura's hanging out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see.
I mean,
You
you're
would
welcome to
pick the
join.
fun one, Aura.
I mean, I'm quite famished with the whole meat being gone. You know, it's a big deal.
I honestly think we should drop everything and go deal with that.
I mean, no complaints from me.
We've decided that meat imports are the biggest problem facing the Citadel. Screw the demon.
Fair enough. So that's where Aura will be.
We're cattle barons now.
I suppose that means that I should probably, I don't know, cover the rear and stay up in the trees, hidden.
Ooh, yes. Can you take the high ground? You know, be very stealthy. You're witsy and stealthy, right?
Okay, so you're going
yeah.
there. You're gonna go somewhere into this trees. Thordal, you're walking around in the circle like this, and then Eric, you're taking
Okay,
one of
he's-
the check marks.
Yeah, I guess I'll just. Is there anywhere in between those two check marks where there's like a bench or a little, any sort of place that I could set up with a sketchbook and be like looking at something pretty, you know, just like right down the road. That actually seems
Yeah.
like it might be a pretty good vista. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you can easily sit there. There's like sort of a bench that overlooks the sort of misty, yawning expanse, the ethereal expanse sort of behind and around you. And also right down the way is the Palace of Exile, which is where, you know, lots of people go to seek refuge and, you know, sometimes meet and collaborate. So you can, you know, see other people sort of gathering and waiting, you know, in the general vicinity too. So you don't look like a.
He's actually
a
sketching out
weirdo.
the Palace of Exile,
Sure.
like just a street scene.
Okay. Cool. So you guys all quickly, will say, as you are making your way up the street, quickly sort of murmur back and forth and discuss and decide who's doing what and going where, and you know, quickly break off and go to your various places. Vilya, can you give me an acrobatics check as you jump up into the trees?
Yeah, I shouldn't really have that much of a problem, as I will be using my spider silk slippers
So then no
to
check
climb
needed
up
then.
and do some sweet parkour.
I forgot about that. So yeah, no check needed then with your
Wow.
with your spider silk weave boots that allow you to climb up. You can easily. You already are at advantage being in the woods. You're very
Yeah, this is my
dexterous
element.
elf. You're in your element, so with the slippers, even more so. So you very inconspicuously make your way up to the tree and find yourself a good vantage point. You can see that these trees are very healthy and well taken care of, and the ones that you're in are actually fruit and nut-bearing trees that have
So much
sort of-
protein.
that have vines sort of growing in between them that have other plants, sort of growing off of them that are harvested by the people in this general area. So you can, you sort of smell these like very floral scents and also, you know, see these bulbous plants around you in case you want some fruit to munch on while you're waiting.
Yeah, I would love to have some fresh fruit.
Okay, or you go up to the stand. You can see that it's awake. The people that sort of own this stand, it sort of has like a 24-hour vibe, but shifts just change. There's a higher energy. Coffees are being made. You can, smell some stir-fried foods. You can see people quickly whisking like a big batch of something else. There's like a hot plate and they're pouring batter onto this hot plate and flipping out flapjacks with some other stuff around. You can sort of sense that this is like a center of people waking up. So you go, and what do you do as you approach this place, or what would you like to do?
I now I'm gonna say burst through the doors, but I boisterously open up the doors and says, "Morning, members of the Radiant Citadel. It is Aura, of course. I'm sure you all remember me, and I require sustenance. Can I please have your aid?" And we'll try to get a meal and sit down and just look, but probably.
All right. Yeah. So they welcome you up. A very stout, boisterous. Male dwarf person says, "Of course, we saw you on the parade. You couldn't be any brighter. Come down. We'll give you a tall stack. You seem, if you're hungry, we'll get you double." And say, "We're running kind of low on pork roll, so we have some fried spam that we're doing Hawaiian style." They wouldn't say that.
I was about to say, wait, Hawaii is real? I'm just gonna fuck off and go to Hawaii. What the fuck am I doing?
No.
What, spam, eggs, bacon, and spam, bacon, sausage,
Yeah, what
spam?
are you talking about? Hawaii's right next to the World Tree.
Right, exactly. It's Hawaii. So, with extra umlauts and another vowel in there.
Oh wow!
It's a close cousin. But yeah, so they give you some food. You can mark off 2 silver, and you will quickly find yourself a nice spot so you can chow down and keep your eyes peeled. And Eric, you find a nice bench that has a good vantage point, and you pull out your supplies, as you said, and start sketching.
Actually, before I start doing that,
sure.
The apartment complex that was mentioned, is it the one that seems to be here?
You're not sure. You can see that in this general vicinity, upon quickly walking up and making your plans and discussing, you have the hunch that it's probably one of these buildings around here. As you see in this general area, sort of when you made that turn and came around the corner, there's lots of stuff that's just generally out and about. Not like piles of rubbish, but like boxes, like cardboard boxes, or I'm trying to think of like other like shipping containers. You could see that there's
Crates, baskets,
like
barrels,
dollies,
that sort of thing.
like dollies, barrels, just sort of in this general area. Like
Actually,
like
that being the
things
case,
voluminous things of being moved or transported.
and the
like-
kobolds did say that it was like, first come, first served, they're just giving their stuff away, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Eric is going to stop. The first person he sees, not. Okay, you say there's stuff around. Are people, perusing it, or is it just sitting there in piles? I assume that this is the sort of place where, someone might be taking a look.
Yeah, so some people are looking in certain boxes, and you can see as people sort of pop open the lid and close it, you can see that the barrels have been emptied, or it looks like most of the barrels have been emptied. You can see that they're sort of grouped together and sort of stacked together for who knows what. Maybe they're going to be taken to collection, if they're going to be reused. You can see that there's also piles of tools. Seem to be gardening, lots of gardening tools, lots of shovels, spades, hoes, rakes, and the leftovers are the ones that are sort of broken or dented or banged up. You could see that a lot of the stuff has been sort of picked through as of yesterday and the day before.
Mhm.
And there are people sort of, poking around, waiting to see if more things are going to be brought out of the apartment areas and sort of put on display.
Understood.
You
So
see like a few piles of just stuff about, yeah.
So what he's going to do is he's going to walk up to one of the people that's like, lifting the lids off stuff and like checking through tools. Excuse me, um, sir, ma'am, whichever is appropriate. Is this a friend of mine from the was in the trade disco last night and told me that there was an entire apartment building that was apparently giving away all of their things before they move out of the Citadel. Is this where that's going on?
Oh yeah, and you can see the area that I circled is where those like piles of stuff was. In this general area, there's like a small like alleyway that between these like buildings, and there's like some green space. So that's where they have sort of the blankets and like piles of stuff. And they say, yeah, the people, and they point to this building right here that I checked south of it. Yeah, the tenants there apparently sold. Or sold their lease or moved or sold the building or who knows what, and are moving out. They're leaving. They're leaving the Citadel. They're making arrangements from what we gather to go off back to the material world. I guess they, found their new home. Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. Interesting, too. I mean, space is always at a premium around here. Do you know if they're giving tours of the building, or if they're just letting people poke around inside?
Not that we've heard. They've been bringing stuff out every, all yesterday, all throughout the day. They've just putting out here and telling people to come take what they want. They couldn't afford to bring it all with them where they're going, they said. So, they gave away drawers and desks and kitchen supplies and tools and just all sorts of household stuff and paper. Just the most random things.
Interesting. Well, seems they've been picked over for now, but maybe I'll come back a little bit later.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I've been mulling around hoping to get something myself. I'll be around here. I might go check out that cafe.
Seems like a nice place. And
Have
Eric,
a good one.
you too. Eric is going to go over a little bit out of the way, in between the trees. He's going to use a ritual spell to cast Detect Magic. And then he's going to come back and he's going to use it to survey all of the stuff that has been left out.
Okay. So we'll say that that's what you're doing because
that'll take 10
casting
minutes.
Takes 10 minutes or so. Easy enough. You can sort of find yourself a space and, cast your spell. Vilya, up in the trees, you easily saw this conversation that Eric had with a stranger, sort of mulling around, pointing stuff out. Can you roll me a perception up in the tree?
I'd love to. That's a 10.
A 10. All right. Yeah, so you see that through the windows, and, you saw with the body language of Eric, them pointing to the building to the south of the map or just north of the Palace of Exile. You can see that now it's approaching, 6:30, 6:45. There seems to be movement in there, like people are rousing. You can see that there's sort of silhouettes and shadows, and there's like a decent amount of people in this building. There's like, or from what you can sort of gather, it's sort of like, there's lots of windows, and you can see people sort of getting up like that. There's, maybe a dozen or so. So whomever's in that building, they're rousing. You sort of are able to pick that up. Or roll me a perception.
Certainly. Ooh, not very good. A natural 2 for a 6.
Natural 2 for a 6. Oh man, these flapjacks and are just so good. And then They have very thinly slices of Spam with fried vegetables, sort of like you know the onomiyaki we got in Japan, sort of like that. Like for the fried cabbages and fried vegetables, and they're sort of like a pancake batter, and that's like flipped over. And they have a few slices of strips of Spam on it. More vegetable than you want, but it's still tasty. But you're sort of absorbed in that, and you note as you sort of finish your meal and you poke your head up, you sort of look around and realize that more people are like coming alive. And you just sort of take note at the time. You sort of find a source and realize that you weren't as attentive in the last like 20 minutes or so. If you realize you were hungrier, so you didn't notice anything in particular. But perhaps maybe you've seen Thordal do a loop around.
I'm changing my dice to the shiny ones that I have. Look at that, rolling better already.
All right, yeah, let's see. All right, Thordal, so you're taking a loop around this general area as well. Anything you're stopping or doing or looking at in particular?
Thordal is trying the best he can to like stick to sort of close to the wall, the shadows, overlooked places, as he takes time to like peer into windows and stuff, and just take a moment to listen closely. And he's hyper focused on trying to find this person.
All right, roll me a perception.
Hot rolls.
Hot rolls tonight, 3, but a good bonus, so an 11. Yeah, as you do these laps around in a similar format to Vilja, you can see in some of the windows to this larger building that people are rousing, people are waking, and just also in general, you sense that lots of people are sort of getting up. There's more people coming to life, more people are going into like the garden area. You see a few people sort of looking up at the trees to see if there's any good fruit ready, ripe to be plucked today, and you still currently do not see a red dragonborn with a cracked horn. You see a few people that, a red-skinned person, you sort of hustle over and you turn around. A tail sort of wags quickly underneath and you didn't realize it was smoother. And as they sort of make the turn, you see the corner and it's a red-skinned tiefling lady with sort of blackish hair. And you're like, oh, nice day to you, and sort of get back onto your route. So one or two times you sort of think that you find him and are just not exactly the exact person you're looking for. So you stay vigilant. 30 minutes pass as you guys continue to survey the scene. We'll jump over back to you, Eric.
10 minutes.
10 minutes pass. Your spell kicks in. And you look at all of the objects that are laid out, or all of the remaining pieces, the things that are there, and they all are mundane. There is no magical aura that comes off of any of the objects that are
Hey,
outside.
good. So no one's giving away plague stuff. Just
Right.
Okay. In that case, I'll take my seat and begin
That stays
sketching.
up, though, for like another 10 or half an hour, right? So you can still sort of keep yourself aware.
Yeah. Let me just take a quick look. Yeah, I'll yeah, up to 10 minutes. So yeah, for 10 minutes, if anything magic-y passes in front of me, I will notice that. But at this point, his primary concern is going to be to, take a seat and watch the people that pass by while sketching the Palace of Exile.
All right. Okay. So about another 20 minutes passes. It's approaching 7 o'clock. Another 15 minutes passes. It's 7:15. People come and go. Sort of like the life of the city is coming together. Let me actually switch to... There we go. Better music. They're switched there to better music. Sorry for the delay. It's sort of coming to life. You can hear there's more hustle and bustle, and just like the general background noise, carts are moving. You hear a few beasts of burden sort of neighing as they pull heavy weights, and people shouting out to their friends or coworkers or people that are waking up and, calling out. So it's definitely has a little bit more of a lively vibe now. You also notice that there have been a few people that have come out of the gray building, we'll call it for now. And with them, they have brought out a few boxes. And they have placed the boxes in the back, and you can see, Eric, that the one man that you were talking to about almost an hour ago, quickly, he like nods at you and then like gestures over to it and sort of shuffles there quickly. And, right behind him is two other people as well, sort of pulling the lids off these boxes to see what is in there. And one... lady, as you casually, I don't know if you, as you see these people sort of pulled apart, and you can see this one lady say, "Oh my God, jackpot!" And out she pulls pitchers and some glassware, and they just seem to be like chipped glasses, not totally broken, but also functioning. And she's like, "Yes, these will work perfectly." And some guy says, "Congratulations, glad you found something you need." And you see they're just like happy to have like free trinkets and stuff. So, and there's like the two or so people brought out like 2 or 3 boxes each of these things. So more stuff might be coming, but they're just sort of placed them down and sort of like, help yourself, people. These are all...
Eric will smile and wave at the person he talked to. The people bringing the stuff out, do they by any chance seem pale with light hair?
Roll me a perception check.
Okay.
They seem like they're dressed like normal people, because you also went and were sitting on a bench. So as you sort of mosey on over, you sort of take a better look at these people.
Oh my God.
A 7. Okay. So you can see that, they don't, maybe at first you think like these are the people, like they're the pale people, and then you're like, I don't know, like that old man looks kind of sickly too, and then you realize like, yes-ish, like not really, like they don't exactly fit the description. They're dressed like normal people. They seem sort of more militaristic, like they're like the cadets or like the newbies, whatever they're called, that are just sort of lugging stuff around. They look more fatigued and tired than like sickly.
Oh, that's no issue. It's like, and as long as they look different to each other, like they don't all clearly come from the same place, he'll just sort of like discard that as an idea. That, like, essentially, if this was the cult bugging out, they would probably look similar to the people that we fought in the catacombs. If they don't all look similar, probably just normal business. And yeah, he'll
Well, you've only seen like the 2 people, but these 2 people don't look that.
He'll just keep an eye out, like he'll pay a special attention to anyone coming out of the building to see if more of any of them match that description, but he'll go back to sketching.
Yeah.
And sketching in finger quotes and watching the road.
Yeah. Okay, so it approaches 7:30, and as it does, you can see a actually, roll me, as it approaches 7:30, all of you roll me another perception check. Here we go. Now we're getting better rolls. 22, 15, 19, 19. Okay, so good rolls across the board. So as it approaches 7:30, and we'll say, Eric, you actually noticed this at 7:30 exactly. Coming out of this, I will put a square over it. This building right here walks out a very sharply dressed, sort of like a, I wouldn't say exactly like a noble, but like has like clean, very clean, deep red leathers, has an overall jacket, nice pants, like a cane, carries a cane, a belt with lots of doodads and trinkets and pouches affixed to it, messenger bag over one shoulder, and a hat that sort of sits over half of the head. But on the other head, you could see a horn. This man, red-skinned dragonborn man, walks out of this building and makes a quick left, and then walks past you, Eric, and makes a quick right towards where Aura is sitting in the cafe. And we'll say, since Thordal, you rolled so high, you also just turned the corner and walk past him as well, like as if you're walking towards Eric, like you're walking this way as the guy's walking towards Aura, who is behind you. And
Travis, quick question.
Yeah,
Does he have a tail?
he does have a tail.
Okay.
And you can see that this man is sort of not exactly beelining it, but he is walking directly towards that cafe.
When I'm sort of, I want to pass very close to him. Can I get a look on his face, his body language, like what kind of aura he's giving off?
Yeah, roll me an insight check. You are going to walk directly past him, but you can be like a, person length away from them, so to speak. 21, fantastic. So as you walk past him, you sort of glance at him and not exactly, obviously, stare him down, but sort of give him a quick vibe check. And as you do, you can see this person means business. They're clearly like when you're in New York City, you can see a tourist that's walking around sort of absentmindedly versus a business person that's on their phone walking from one place to another. He's more of the business person, walking from where he's from to where he's going. He's not in a hurry. He's not in a rush, but this person clearly has a intense vibe to them. That they are they are headed to a place and they mean business. They are focused and not dazed and about.
DM, can I see this also happening from above?
Oh, sorry. Yes, with your 15, you're able to see. You're the last person to see this, but you do see this person sort of leave the building, turn the corner, and as you sort of because you're sort of also keeping tabs of where your group is, and as you sort of see Thordal, you see this person sort of walk and cross path, and this person fits the bill.
Okay. Is it possible to kind of go from tree to tree and then onto one of the closest buildings, maybe from the southeast, and diagonally make my way across the rooftops, Assassin's Creed style?
Surely it is uncommon.
More than happy to make checks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fine. I just want to let you know that it is uncommon for people to be running across rooftops in the Citadel. So I'm just saying, hopefully you're stealthy enough, but eventually if you are caught, someone would be like, oh my God, there's a person on the roof. Just so you know, it's not people aren't going to be like, oh, there goes another person on the roof.
That's fine. And because of that, I would like to kind of walk in almost the center line of the buildings, and because I'm kind of banking on the fact that a lot of people aren't going to be looking up.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the last thing a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And speak. It's like just make myself a little bit safer from those with more of a diagonal or horizontal view. I'll kind of stay towards like the middle of the buildings, just
Yeah.
to keep myself
Abs-
safe.
Absolutely. So, why don't you roll me a stealth check and an acrobatics as you leap from the trees to the buildings.
I could do both of these things.
Stealth 19, fantastic. Acrobatic and 21, good
Oh
rolls.
man,
Part of me was
so much
really
better.
hoping you would stealthily fall out of the tree.
I mean, that would be funny.
That would have been hilarious.
Well, at least we know that acrobatics isn't Kirsten Travis's games. It's just Christy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you met her at the party.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately our previous rogue is cursed. Cursed to fail doing all rogue things with expertise. So you easily jump from the trees to a nearby lower rooftop building. So you sort of jump down onto it, and you pick one that sort of had a roof that you felt would be like a more cement, more rocky roof that would sort of take some of that impact, so that way it's not like you're landing on like a tin roof with like a loud thud. From there, you're able to sort of scamper up side of the building and scurry, so that way you have a good vantage point to sort of watch and see this happen. You feel like you're relatively stealth, and so far so good. Like no screams, no shouts out, no screams. So you've picked a good spot to do what you got to do.
As I get like super close, I'd probably also, kind of just lay flat so I could kind of not necessarily hear what's going on, but at least see potentially this interaction with Aura, who's also at the cafe still.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so you scamper up in just in time to see this red dragonborn make his way to this bodega, and he opens the door, walks over to the counter, and Aura, you absolutely now recognize these descriptions. You hear ding, 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 ding. The door opens. This person walks in. Step, 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 step. I'll have my usual. And he says, "Oh, of course, Mr. Scarlet Wound. Please don't be so formal. Seymour's fine." And he says, "Of course, Seymour." And or you hear this and are immediately clued in. Not only did they use his name, Seymour Scarlet Wound, he also fits the description. You can see underneath his trench coat a red tail that sort of occasionally peeks out. It's sort of tucked in a particular manner, but the coat doesn't fully cover it, and you see a bright scarlet skin, scaly skin that indicates that he is a dragonborn. And with, being a dragonborn yourself, you sort of can easily, recognize another person of your species. And you can see that he's a very handsomely well, sharp-dressed man, sort of like a military commander uniform, like nice leathers, boots, messenger bag, carrying some stuff. But you can see he's clearly stopped in to get his, morning coffee and breakfast on his way to whatever he's doing.
Alrighty, I'm gonna keep my eye on him. I want to see what he's ordering and then what he does immediately afterward. Like, is he sitting down or is he leaving?
You can see he said, "My usual, please," and they says, "Order up. Get Mr. Seymour his usual." And you can see the chef in the back does, start cracking a few eggs and creating a, omelet for this man. So after a few moments, he has a burrito-like sandwich egg, breakfast burrito was made for him, wrapped up, and he has a coffee and a burrito. He sort of puts his bag on his shoulder, takes a bite after a few moments, and says, always fantastic. I don't know how I'd start my day without you guys. It's too bad we'll be leaving soon. And he's sort of making small talk a little bit with Candy, the owner of Sugar Crystal's Cafe. And Candy, the chef in the back, shouts out, "Yeah, we're going to miss you a lot." Because the bulky dwarf says, "Yeah, it's been a real pleasure. You and all your dudes really appreciate the extra patronage." And he says, "Yeah, orders come, orders go." And he's sort of just like you can clearly tell he's talking about, they're moving, they're leaving town.
DM.
Yeah.
Is there meat in that burrito?
You can see that. Roll me an eagle eye perception check. Let's see if you can tell if there's meat in that burrito.
I would love to.
18 or higher, you can tell. Ooh, 19
well, lucky for you.
Fucking 19 on the dice, 24. You can see that there's eggs, bacon, cheese. There's an extra slice of pork roll in there, or in this case, Spam. They're running low on their normal meats.
I just love that there's Spam in this world, too.
Spam in this world, yeah. You can also see that there are some, hot sauces also that were squirted in there, a few varieties to really kick in the heat, and then also an extra chili rolled up in his burrito.
Now, while I think it would be extremely keen to cast Locate Object on the burrito, I am not 100% sure what would happen once he's done eating it. So I think I'm just going to cast Locate Object on that very flashy jacket. Very distinct, and would probably be something I could use my mind's eye to keep track of.
All right, yeah, and you just need to see it to cast it?
Yeah.
All right, so as you see him sort of hawk in, look at that burrito, you see what's on it, make mental note. You also study this sort of leader's leather jacket and notice the distinct placement of like the pins and the rivets that sort of embroider and give it its sort of distinct pattern. And as you do, you sort of embolden or emblazon this thought in your mind's eye, and you can feel where it is. You can feel it radiating in a certain direction. And as you open your eyes, it's sort of like illuminated to where you are, and you can see that he is currently enjoying his burrito and sipping his coffee while standing there sort of over surveying this general area. And after he eats about half of his burrito, he tops off his coffee and quickly leaves the shop, walking back the way that he came. Back down.
He throws away half a meat burrito?
No, he didn't finish it. He was drinking some of his coffee and eating his burrito, but then refilled his coffee to go with the rest of his burrito.
Okay, I'm just making sure, because I know Aura would be extra upset about that fact, and I would make sure that Aura knows.
That's canon. No, you're right. That's canon. So he goes over and sort of mutters under his breath about how there's not enough meat in this, and throws out, or you can smell the Spam and smell the meat that was just cooked for his burrito, and you can see him throw it in the trash. He tops up his coffee and then he leaves.
I get in front of him. Or had a plan, and then now he's gone out the window.
Literally, as soon as he passes me and he's out of sight, my raven is perched on the first window of the house he just vacated. Like, Eric isn't wasting multiple minutes while this guy just clearly left his house. I wanted to get that out before he left, because Eric wouldn't know he's heading back yet, is my point.
Right. So he stood there and ordered. So when he left, you could have sent your raven immediately to go to where the house is because you saw it, and he was at his at this hut for a few minutes to get like his coffee and stuff, before he comes back. And also, you saw Thordal was walking because where the check mark is on the screen is where you guys are, or where Thordal was coming to. So we'll say that you guys have like a few moments while he was eating and ordering to sort of decide what you're going to do. So we'll come back to you, Aura, interrupting him before he leaves in a moment, because currently we'll say he's still eating there while we rewind back to Eric and Thordal doing what you're going to do.
So, like, Eric's packing up his stuff, not in a rush, but, expediently. And essentially
Thordal
every
walks
couple...
over at that moment when you're like finished putting your stuff away, because Thordal, you just walked right past him.
Yeah, I stop and I say, "Are you still following, or are you going to investigate the house?" Because the other two are in there with him.
Okay, good. I'm going to go investigate the house. My Raven's probably had enough time to hit 2 or 3 windows. Did he see anyone else in there?
Has not, no.
Okay. This area we're around, is there anywhere that I could duck into, like, an inconspicuous place to cast invisibility? Between me and the house.
Like, you could sort of tuck behind it, but this house itself is sort of carved out of part of the rock here.
Are there any little alcoves in the rock? Just like anywhere that even for a couple seconds I could not be in immediate sight of everyone on the street.
Sure, I'll block you with my body.
Yeah, and you could sort of
fair point.
You could sort of tuck around a little bit, and Thordal can help block you.
Okay.
And for good measure, I don't know if it'll help, I cast Pass Without a Trace on us so we can try and sneak towards the house.
Well, I'm going to have to... Well, unless you're coming in,
I'm going to follow.
Oh, you're coming in with me?
Yeah, at least getting as close as I can, unless I don't feel safe.
Okay. Well, stay back well, you won't be able to see me. Fair enough. Okay. The Raven will... I was going to have the Raven hang out outside. Actually, I'm still going to have him do that. He's going to perch on... Like, if the door has I think it's a lintel or anything like that, he's just going to stand up there, keeping an eye on the street, and every... call it 4 rounds, I'm going to switch my perception to him with my action, just to see if he sees a red dragonborn headed back this way.
Okay. So you guys quickly cast your spells, your Pass Without a Trace, the magic sort of washes over you. You walk, as you're walking down the corridor from the benches that you were to this house, you are able to do that without a problem, and also cast your invisibility as well. You go up, you sort of peer through your familiar's eyes and realize that the few windows that are in this place, it's dark inside. You can't really see anything, and he has not seen any other people inside of that building. But you guys make your way to sort of the front steps of this building.
Is the street hustle and bustle right now? If we were to, I don't know, could we be around this building and not be like, oh my god, there's so many people around us? What is around this building? Are there a lot of people? Is it just the occasional straggler?
There's a decent amount of people in this general area because the Palace of Exile is just 700 feet south of you. So that's where lots of people go to meet up. That's where they help take care of, newly displaced peoples or those who, need aid. So there's, a general sort of move and flow of people in this area. So if 2 people are sort of hanging out, it doesn't look weird because there is some movement, but like, it's not like there's crowds of people where you are.
And I'm gonna call out to Eric. He is, and I'm just gonna say, stick. Well, Vin's gonna say, stick near me. And I want to try and find a window, and I want to wait where nobody's looking, where Vin teleports us into the house through the window.
Eric's just going to keep a hand on your shoulder so that you'll know where he is. So that's assuming you don't mind, like,
No.
unless you react poorly to.
No, he's totally fine with
Okay.
You want
Vin
to
can do that. Oh. Beats the door.
You can take more than just yourself, or how does that work?
I can take as many people fit in. I think it's like a 10-foot radius around Vin, 5-foot radius, something like that.
Yeah, and you can sort of like mini jump them. That's right.
Yeah, we can go 50. Yeah, we can go 15 feet.
15 feet.
Which I'm assuming is enough to take us from outside to just inside.
To just barely inside, yeah. Okay, so we'll say that this is and you want to do this sneakily, so roll me a stealth check. I'll give you an advantage since you're both invisible and you're passed without a trace.
Well, I'm not invisible. I just have pass without a trace up.
But Eric's is invisible, so I'll give you like together. Well then, fine, Eric. You roll me one with an advantage, and pass without a trace. And third, all you roll yours with pass without a trace.
Just pass without a trace plus 10 or plus
10.
5?
Plus 10. Ooh.
Wow.
Still a 14 though.
Right.
Ooh.
Hey!
Wow.
You forgot that I ever existed.
Right.
It's that
Oh my God.
Nosferatu thing from Vampire. People forget they met me.
Right. Oh my goodness. And dropped a 1 as well. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a little weird at first. You guys, Thordal, you're like afraid of like teleporting into a wall. You're like, because that's this big stone building. And it kind of has to make sense. So eventually you smush up to the side of the house and you are able to sort of peer through one of the windows well enough where you feel like you can sort of see see enough space in your mind's eye where you feel like you can do it. And then in an instant, this like heat sort of erupts around you. And it's sort of like there was like a flash fire, or like a magician's like a poof of smoke bomb, but not like a plume of smoke, just sort of like a wisp of fire as just, surrounds you both and takes you 15 feet into this, we'll say it's like the entranceway of this building.
Is it
This, like,
multiple
stone building.
stories? All right.
It is multiple stories, yeah.
All right.
It's sort of like a circular stone townhouse is the best way to describe this place. And it's like a single person.
It's a nice home for one
It would
person.
be like there's only
Okay.
one front door.
We don't have a lot of time, or we might not have a lot of time.
Yeah.
We're gonna split up. You take the bottom floor. I'll take the top floor. Try to be quiet, but I think we're alone. Try not to disturb too much. We don't know how careful he is. And with that, Eric is going to move towards the steps and head upstairs.
As like, I feel your hand sort of like leave my shoulder, I sort of grab where I think it is for a second, and I'm like, all right, hopefully you can find something. I mutter a couple of words, and a little root from my staff like goes from my body to like around your finger as I cast enhance ability.
Oh.
And give you, I can't remember what that specific one is
nice.
called, but intelligence checks are all any intelligence based skill is at advantage for you.
Damn. Thank you.
Nice. It's what is it? It's like
Yeah, it's
owls.
Fox's cunning
Eagle's
is, I think, for
splendor,
intelligence.
owl's wisdom.
Yeah. You are now a cunning fox. Oh, Vin.
Fox.
Alright,
Very
yeah.
thematic.
Vin
Okay.
definitely goes, oh, you got this, buddy. You got this.
Okay, so you quickly run upstairs and investigate.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
Thordal,
downstairs.
You're
He's looking at the
investigating
upstairs.
downstairs, I suppose, or what are you doing? All right. So
Is
each of
there
you roll me
any way I
an
could bargain to just do
investigation
a
check,
look
please.
with my eyes without delving too deep?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
sure.
investigate the
sure.
hell out of the
So,
upstairs.
You can take a quick. Right, yes, you do. Yeah, you can walk around and give me a perception check. It'll give you a little different information. Wow, fantastic. Okay, so investigation 26 and perception 19. Foxes have a 3, -4 intelligence score 0. Random 0 says. Just so cunning, right? I agree. It's thematic. Okay, so with the 26, you quickly scamper upstairs and you realize that the upstairs is his office and his bedroom. So you quickly walk around his bedroom and you can see that this person is very militaristic. Like the bed is made,
Neat and tidy.
the chair's pushed in and at the desk. You can see that there's
You could bounce a
neatly
silver piece
stacked
off the
books. It's tidy,
off the bed.
it's well kept. Yeah, absolutely. And then you go into the office and shockingly, it is a little erratic. You can see that there seems to be a semblance of organization. Like there's clearly certain books that are stacked. You see that there's lots of journals, lots of religious texts, lots of alchemical books, formulas. You see that there's sort of like a chalkboard, nothing like demonic written, sort of like formulas are written, things that sort of indicate certain balances, or use this herb in this potency to and induce this effect. And you're not exactly sure of the gibberish. Like, are you do you have proficiency in medicine, or do you
Not
have
really, no.
herbalism kit or medicine kit? Like, are you trained in any of those things? Yeah, so the jargon is very technical in its field, so it's hard to understand, but you can see that this is like a person that sort of, is like a thinker, doer, organizer of other people's. You can see that there's also a catalog in the front of the desk that's sort of open with sort of, if you look at the last few entries as you quickly scan it, you can see that they're clearly tracking shipment and certain things that are missing, like numbers of vials, certain herbs, some liquids that are missing. You can see that those are all very tracked and they're down to the unit itself. Like, so it's very meticulous, the person that was in here. So you sort of are scrambling, and those are the things that you can pick out.
One thing
as
he'll
you're,
also do
quickly
is search
looking through, this room.
the desk and any book, especially the desk, but also the bookshelves secondarily, for any like hidden areas, like false bottoms to the drawers, like drawers that aren't immediately obvious to a cursory inspection, that sort of things. Like desks, especially old school desks, are famous for having all sorts of little compartments and shit in them that you can. Yeah.
Like extra hidden nooks and things.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll come back to that in a second. So we'll say that you're looking
Mhm.
for those things too, as like additional, like maybe fake books or things like that. Thordal, as you're exploring the downstairs, you can see that this is mainly more of like the living quarters. You find like a makeshift kitchen with a few items in it. You find a sort of a pantry with some stocked goods. You can see a calendar with certain dates that are circled. And if you recall, if you're sort of looking at that, you realize that they line up to the dates that of the shipments that were coming through to the Radiant Citadel. They sort of match up to the time frame that you were getting and sort of mapping out. As you also just sort of like look around, you'll notice that there is garbage cans, but there's no garbage in them, and everything is everything seems sort of like a hotel-esque, like it's lived in but not really. It's like there's signs of life, but it's not like a home. It's very like just a few things are like the necessary things are here, giving a very like temporary residence feel as you sort of like look around and you like try and figure stuff out. We'll say that a few minutes pass as you guys are exploring and investigating this. Vilya, you jumped across the roof and perceived you're sort of watching this dude walk into the coffee shop, into Sugar Crystal's cafe, and you see inside this man places his order. You perceive how much meat he puts in his omelet. He sort of takes a few bites, sips his coffee, gives like a sort of a smirk and tosses it, eats about half of it, 3/4 of it, and then throws it away. And then Aura, that's when you see him sort of, or hear him sort of making small chat with the owner, saying that, they've been great, but he has to, they're moving on with their life, and next chapter, military, yada yada, sort of giving a little bit of generic. And that's when he takes that last bite and just throws it away.
Excuse me,
I'll be seeing
as
ya.
Aura like steps in front as he's walking out the door, kind of blocking his path. Did I just perceive you throwing away a perfectly good meal with meat? Very precious meat. Do you know that we're on a meat shortage here on the Citadel? Over there, and I'll point to the garbage and look very stern.
Oh, I suppose you're right. I apologize, ma'am. And he takes out his foil off of his sandwich, and he puts that into the recycling and throws the sandwich back into the garbage. I should recycle.
Go, and step
now,
over to the side and
me. And he goes to sidestep.
Once again,
push past you.
I don't think you quite understood what I was saying. These fair people around you are paying good money for their meals, and so are the rest of the people on the Radiant Citadel. If you did not know, we are quite in the shortage of meat due to something here that I don't really bother with that, but I do know when good meat is being wasted, and waste not, want not. So please, sir, I say, looking him up and down, can you please just proceed back to the trash receptacle, retrieve your meal, and consume it like a normal person?
I paid good money for this. This isn't no charity. I don't know what you're expecting or what game you're playing, but I'll do what I want with my food. He says, I ain't eating no garbage. I'm done with it. You can have it.
Who do you think you are, sir?
He says, that ain't none of your business. He's like, I got stuff to do today, and I ain't ready to deal with the public.
I am Aura Lightsinger, the Crystal Dragonborn of the Refraction's Crest, and it is my duty to make sure the people of the Radiant Citadel are treated kindly, well, and those who live upon this beautiful island do not go wasting the precious resources that we have available to us. So, unless you go back there, pick it up, and finish consuming your meal, you won't be leaving this restaurant. Well, the law of
He says,
waste.
have I broken any laws?
There are hungry people on this floating citadel.
He says, since I've broken no laws and you have no authority or jurisdiction over me, you're not my mother, I'll be going. And I can waste as much as I want. And that's none of your business.
Oh, my
Not until it's
You're
time to
lucky
go.
I'm not your mother.
Good day,
You're
man.
so lucky your mother had to see this. And I will not stop him, but I will proceed to leave and follow him as that person.
Okay, so he leaves the building and is sort of heading back the way he came. Vilya, you saw this like confrontation. You saw Aura like have this confrontation, and you can see she is clearly in hot pursuit behind him.
Cannot believe her.
You also see that he is headed back the way that he came. So he is not quickly. He's like, walking at a brisk pace, sort of back this exact same alleyway that he came out of. After, we'll say it's about like
Travis?
10 minutes.
Like I said,
of
after 5 minutes,
investigation,
he's giving himself 5 minutes of looking.
Eric.
If he doesn't find anything, that's fine. But go on.
Okay, so at 5 minutes, your bird will have, when you looked in his eyes, you can see that he was eating his like thing and sort of standing in the way. So you sort of felt like you had enough time to look again.
Because
so
after
spent, let's say,
5 minutes, he's going to start
maybe pushing
taking
10
shit.
minutes when...
Oh, yeah. Because that's the... Okay.
Oh, you're going to start
Anything
taking things.
he
Okay,
wrote
so what are you...
reports to him.
What are you going to take?
Journals, of course. And if there are any books out, like they've clearly just recently been referenced, those go into the bag of holding as well.
Okay, yeah, so you easily can grab a bunch of shit that's in
And he is not being secretive about it. This is like
his office and sort of ransack his space. So like I said,
like
you
open the
find
bag
a
of
few
holding,
ledgers,
take a
you
drawer
find
out of the
some
desk, dump
reference
it into
books,
the
you find
bag,
some
move
religious
on to the
texts
next
that
drawer.
were,
I want him to know that
being,
someone has been in here.
read. You're just arm on a grocery shelf into the bag of holding. Okay. Okay, yeah, so easily enough, and Thordal, you hear this like ruckus coming
ton
from
of
upstairs
noise. He's
after
just
you finished
not
doing your
being-
first round of the downstairs.
Yeah,
So
he's
after
not being
5 minutes
super
or so, you
sneaky.
sort of-
It's just
you did
yeah,
peek
he's
through a few rooms,
he's not trying to
discern
cover
the
his
sort of
tracks at
living
all.
space, and then hear this crashing upstairs.
Oh sure, yeah.
Sneaky.
Vin definitely goes like flying up. You did notice when he teleported us into he got
There's like, but like if
slightly
you're pushing
bigger. It
books
wasn't
into
a lot, but he
a
seems
thing, you might like
more
knock over a
prominent
vase or
now,
something.
but he,
You know
like,
what I mean?
goes
So like
flying
you
up
hear a
there,
little
and he's just
noise
like,
upstairs, Thordal.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Letting him know that we've been here.
Oh, we want him to know that?
Yeah. Shit, I don't know they're leaving. Oh.
I could
My
just
bad.
set the whole place on fire if I wanted to, but
No. I want to see what he does. I want to see who he talks to when he knows that someone's been in here.
all right.
So once I have, sorry, what were you gonna say?
So we can just take things. That's on the
Yeah,
table.
if you see anything that looks evidency, grab it. But keep it separate. We're gonna put it in the bag of holding. I don't want him to be able to track it. And I don't think you can track things in a bag of holding. He says this like as he's stacking ledgers and putting them in the bag. Like once he has the low-hanging fruit, the most obvious-looking stuff, he's gonna head down and, if Vin is coming with him, tell Thordal we're going now. We want to be out of here before he gets back.
And while all that was happening, and Finn conveyed to Thordal that we could just take things, Thordal goes look like to either a dryer or like a cold box. I don't know what they have, and just he looks for meat, because he wants to steal all this guy's meat. Yeah, he's basically raiding the kitchen and the pantry. That's what I do.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So when you, yeah, when you go into the kitchen and you open the kitchen, you find that it is stocked full of beef. There is so much meat in this kitchen. It is disgusting how much meat this person is hoarding. It's actually, like, gives you sort of like a hoarder vibes, or maybe he's in the market. Maybe he has like a meat connect. And then when you open the freezer, you find that there is actually bags of frozen blood,
and everything is going inside of it. Yeah.
Does Eric get down in time to see this? Like, I see he's the massive quantities of meat that's just moving.
Okay, you take all the meat, you take all the blood too?
Thordal.
And the other stuff that's in the freezer?
Before you
okay,
eat
so
any
you guys...
of that, you might want to check to be sure that it's not,
we'll say you come down and
long
see this.
pig.
Yeah, he gives a nod, but keeps just putting things in his bag of holding, goes to the spice rack, and he's just like, ooh, turmeric's really hard to find right now. And he raids the kitchen because that's all he can think of doing because he found nothing.
Okay, count of 10. 10, 9. Shit, he's coming back. Okay. Now we can go out the front without him seeing us.
You get a ping. You get a ping.
How big?
Your bird sees
I'm
him
still
sort of
invisible, but
walking
you're
back
not.
and down the
How
street.
thick are the... Okay, so there's the entrance to the house. Is that within sight of the two side rooms? Like, is it in the center? Is there an exterior wall with a window that isn't within sight of the front door?
There is not really. There's like sort of, we'll say that there's a window on like the top side near the front door,
I get
and
that.
then like one over here.
No, what I'm asking is,
so
like,
you can
is
sort
there
of see that there's...
Is there anywhere
back,
where we
it's
can
like
see
carved
out
into the rock of
that
this,
when he
like,
enters the house, he would not
Citadel
immediately
itself.
be able to see us?
This is sort of like a building that was
I see what you want to do.
carved out of
Basically,
the
what I want to
So,
do
like,
is I want to wait there. As soon as he opens the door, we bamf back out of the place. Is that doable? Mm-hmm.
When you open the front door, you sort of look into like the living room space, and then there's the staircase that goes up,
Does the
or
door
like a corridor
swing,
that goes
is it
back
up to
into
code
the
and
rest of the house
swings
and the
inward, or
bathrooms.
does it swing outward?
So you could sort of like stand behind the door and then hope
so
that
the
he
opens
does
the
it,
door,
but
we'll
that's sort of
just
like a
bamf
risk.
out.
You know what I mean? There's not like a...
That's the best I can think of.
Well, actually, wait, no. If the front door is that middle dot, that isn't visible from where he's coming from just yet. Oh, shit! Let's just go now! Go, 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 go! He says... Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah, so your bird.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
assuming
Oh,
your
sorry, I
bird
thought
is
you
like
could already
perched
see the front
here,
door and would
like
see it
so that
open
we
and
could
thought it all
see.
come out. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
so
that's
you can
fine
see
then.
that he's just like
Yeah,
we will
just
just,
leaving,
Vin definitely
you
chimes
know,
in
the
and
shop
goes,
a few moments.
I
So you
would
guys
give better
rent like the front
directions if I
corridor
was on the
area,
watch, but that's just
and
me.
Yeah, sorry about that. Oh, by the way, I think it was Omar pointed out that your pass without Drace would have dropped if you had since you cast enhanceability.
You don't need it anymore. I put my staff into the ground again, and that same aura just bubbles around me as I'm like, all right, ready to go. And
Okay. When we get out,
enhanceability,
I'm gonna let go of your shoulder. You walk to the right, around the back, and meet up with them at the cafe. Once you've done that, come to the bench that I was sitting on and just hang out there. I'm going to stay close and see what he does when he sees that we've been here. And with that, he's going to, let go of your shoulder as we come out the door, and he's just going to walk a little bit to... No, he's going to walk across the street to whatever building that is directly across the street, and just casually lean on the building so that anyone with see invisibility, it just looks like he's taking a rest.
And Eric, you definitely would have saw through. Oris definitely on his back, like chastising him the entire way there. So you would have definitely, you would know that she would not be at the thing, just in case you were looking for her.
Fair enough. I believe his is an advantage. Oh, does invisibility give me an advantage?
So as you guys
okay.
bamf out and roll me a stealth check, both of you.
Wow, these advantages saving me from some terrible fucking rolls.
Yeah. Nice. 20. Right. So as he's coming about this way, he's about to round the corner, and you quickly glance through your Raven's eyes again, and you can see he turns around to say to Aura, like, leave me the fuck alone. I don't know who the fuck you are, lady. I'm not eating my garbage sandwich. You're being ridiculous. Like, I got places to do and things to oversee, and I'm having another moment. And in that moment is when you bamf out and quickly scurry, so that way there's no shenanigans in front of the building. You can see through your Raven's eyes.
He's just walking over to the building across the
turned,
street
so by
and
the time
just
he turns
casually
back
leaning
around
against it as if he's,
sentence,
resting his dogs for a minute.
Thordal, you're already in this corridor here, making your way towards the trees, and I forget if Eric, you're going the same way or if you're just walking up. But you look like... Right. So he finishes his, his response to Aura for chastising him. He continues to walk. He looks up at the building that is, you'd assume would be his house. He continues past it, walks over into this main building, picks up his bag and his leisure, and he says to Aura, like, you better not fucking...
Well, I'll make sure the captain knows exactly what
the boxes are in the back
walk
with
around the city
other things that are leaving. Go bother them.
Treats
Go fight off the other beggars.
This will not go untold.
And he
walk my
walks into
words!
this building and slams the front door.
Just storms and walks back.
And he slams the door, and you can easily, you can see that there's like, easily like people sort of like staring and looking in your commotion, and Aura, people are sort of just like, don't piss them off. They're giving away free shit. You sort of like hear like the vibe of people being like, ooh, they're not gonna give her anything, type deal. And Vilya, you're sort of clocking all of this happen as you even hear Thalia chastising him, and then you hear him respond and retort to her too. But he makes his way into the building, and you guys all, from your various vantage points and perspectives, see that he did not return to the house for this moment and clearly walked into this other space. So you can take a few moments to regroup, I'm assuming, at the cafe, or
make eye contact with the others on the street. And
Thordal, you'll go meet Vil, or Thordal and Vin, you'll go meet.
Since my
Eric
raven
by the
can
bench,
actually
like you
repeat
discussed. And then
words, it will fly over to Aura and say, this way, and then it'll flutter over to the bench where Thordal is waiting.
In the thoughts. All right. I guess I'll follow. No, let's go.
I better join them. I'm starting to get worried.
all right. So you meet up, and Vilya, from your vantage point, you can sort of clock your group gathering and join them if you wish, or keep an eye out. All right, so you guys gather together on the bench that's sort of recessed into the rock alcove, a few paces away from everybody. There are no current other people around. There is some commotion in this general space. A few eyes are sort of on you,
once we've
Aura, since
reconvened,
you were,
Eric
just
is going
walked
to send his
around this
raven
area shouting after a man, but for the after a few
here.
moments, sort of people go about their business. But
and do
you
that thing
all
where I
sort of
check in on
reconvene
its senses every couple
this,
seconds. I just want to make sure that
space.
he isn't going out the back. He's also going to let everyone know that he's there, even though he's still invisible.
And the moment we all get together, Vin is just like, we're going to have a great dinner tonight, guys.
Oh,
okay.
I will not believe the amount of meat I just...
Is it good?
Well, we don't know. There was enough of it that I'm thinking it might be victims, not victuals. So, if anyone knows how to tell if something's sentient before they eat it, please do that.
Well, I definitely cannot do that, but let me tell you. I'm sorry, I got off track and I forgot who we were looking for, but some asshole wasted good meat. I tried to follow him down, but he was quite rude. He went to that building over there, as he points to the building.
Well, there's good news. While you were chastising him, we were robbing his house.
Wait, I thought that was intentional, so maybe we could... I thought you saw us in, like, panicking on how we were going to get out of there. You came to our rescue. Is that...
No, wait, was that? Oh my God, that was him? No, he just threw away so good a bacon-filled burrito, and I had to let him know exactly what I thought about it.
There was spam in there as well. That's not what's important, though. I'm tracking him through his jacket. I cast Locate Object. I know exactly where he is right now.
Oh,
smart.
Well, that's good. Once he goes home, he'll know that we've been in there. I want to see who he goes to, what he does when he finds out that his privacy has been violated. Does anyone here know alchemy? Medicine, that sort of thing?
I'm good at the medicine.
Oh! In that case, hold on. You hear some ruffling, or some rustling. Hold out your hand.
Yeah. Hold out my hand.
A book plops into your hand that is invisible until Eric lets go of it. I think that's how the spell works. These were his notes. It looks like he was reporting on formulae or researching formulae. I don't know. But...
Yeah.
That is not something I'm familiar with. If you are, and you could tell us what's on there, this might be a big help.
Thordal's eyes definitely, like, when he sees the book, definitely light up. As he's been neglecting going to the library recently, and he's definitely excited to hold something. Does it feel like this is like a published book, personal notes? Is this... Oh. You definitely, you hear something thump the underside of the book. He
This is
opens it
like
up and
a
he'll take a look
scientific
to see if he can
journal.
glean
This is like
anything
an
from its
alchemist's
pages.
notebook, like a personal notebook. You immediately notice that the numbers, the ratios, the way that things are annotated, it is very clear that this is someone whom like creates potions or poisons or liquids or something like that. But you're just not certain because you realize that it's written
Am I
in
able
cipher.
to pick up anything more specific?
There's like
'Cause I'm
a
proficient with,
code to this
herbalism
language
kit
because
as
the
well
words don't make
as
sense.
medicine?
A few of the references are obscure components. Like it seems that like the legend page, we'll say, has a few keys and a few giveaways, and
like,
you'll
pictures?
notice that
Like depictions of plants and stuff?
there are a few things in there. I don't know. I'm trying to say it because it is written in like a cipher, so you wouldn't know exactly what it is. But okay, yeah. So there's a few. Oh, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. So there's a few drawings of specific plants that seem to be highlighted or circled, and you realize that they. Here, I'll give you this one. There's one plant as you're thumbing through it in particular. In particular, that is highlighted and underlined, and then there's a rough drawing, and it reminds you of something you've witnessed in person.
From the book,
and then it dawns on you that it's a lotus.
Confused frustration, and Vin chimes in, goes.
You've encountered
the book's written in code
before for specific people.
The only thing I could specifically figure out about it is that it references lotuses. I'm gonna have to spend probably a great deal of time to try and break the code. It's been a while since I've practiced that skill, but I could certainly try.
There might be more here that would help with that, but this isn't the time or the place to be spreading out. Travis, how do people on the Citadel get rid of garbage?
Eject it to the material plane.
There is a. They just whip it off the ledge. No, there's like a recycling center and a waste management center that people are all responsible for their own belongings and stuff. So because it is a finite amount of material space, they have to reduce, reuse, recycle as much as possible. So there is a specific place, we'll say, on the lower half of the Citadel, sort of beneath the trade discal, where there's processing plants.
Do they have to take their own stuff there, or is there some sort of trash
compost
pickup?
and fertilizer? They sort of refine metals, and then other like true waste that needs to be like discarded. They, store until shipped away.
But there would be like a central place in this area where they get rid of their waste.
There is no pickup service. Like each group or area is responsible for bringing them their own stuff there. The waste area will say.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
no,
draw it
I
on the
get
map
that.
just so that way you
But
guys
like, so
can see,
everyone
is down
individually, if they
here.
want to throw something away, has to walk themselves all the way down there.
Like down here. This is where.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are groups and teams and people who offer it as a service, but the the Citadel exactly doesn't have like garbage men, so to speak. There's community people
did he
that
have
sort of do it like together.
a waste
You know
paper
what I mean?
basket or anything
this
like that in
area
the
around
study?
the Palace of Exile, they might
he
have
had
certain
some
teams that are like
downstairs that were
once a
completely
month
empty.
we collect all the garbage from this area and bring it down or things like that. But
I figured. Oh, did he have a fireplace? Or a stove?
Yeah. Same
Since
thing with
he's
the
in
ones
that other
were in the
building,
office. There
I'm
was
going to head back
all the papers
inside.
were like on the desks and out.
I'll be
stuff.
back
There
in a
was
few
nothing
minutes,
in the
guys.
waste bin. He did have he does have a fireplace and a stove. Well, let's we're approaching 10 p.m. So I was going to say with you guys sort of the four of you here on the park bench, you realize that you have the alchemical notes. You
as
have
long
this,
as
you
like
saw
I've
him
seen
go
it at
into
least
that other
one
building.
time, I can
with
potentially
Vilya, how long
recast it
does
again later.
your find object last? All right.
Yeah.
All right. So you know that he walked into that building, and Vilya, you're actively, I'm assuming you relayed that communicate. Well, you did. You said that the other people know. So you can feel that this person is sort of walking around in that building, and then at some point, like standing still, or seems to be no longer like stationary somewhere in that building. So it seems.
By the way, it only lasts 10 minutes, but as long as you are within,
he's going to be there for a while.
1,000 feet, you can.
If you guys want to go back into the other building, you can investigate. But you sort of.
I thought it was an hour.
Have the lay of
duration is 10 minutes, not concentration though. So that's
nice.
Oh no, it is. Never mind. I didn't see the
Lies.
Sorry.
Okay, which you.
1,000 feet.
I was gonna say I felt like it is, but yeah, you're still within.
Okay.
You're well within 1,000 feet, so you have enough space to sort of feel
can
it.
I like
very?
pull out
You feel its presence very strongly. Like it's not like far at the edge of your capabilities.
Is it because
Hunter, or sorry, Thardle, you're gonna say something?
Eric was curious. Is it like animal meat and blood? Is there? Medicine. Very good at the medicines. I'm great at the medicine.
Roll me a medicine check.
I actually know exactly
the blood's
what
still
this
frozen,
is.
but you can inspect the meat and stuff.
If that was a person, you know what color hair he had.
Yeah. Yeah, so you actually pull out one of the hunks of meat that still sort of has a little bit of its like packaging still on it, and you see that there is actually a stamp on like on it, like a label, like a branded stamp into like the meat. And you know, you're not an avid meat eater, but you've had some, especially because it's such a delicacy. Like everyone sort of knows about it. It says BSP Arctos certified grade A beef. And BSP stands for Broken Spine Peaks. and is
Okay,
BSP Farms,
I'm glad it's not
Arctos
human.
certified, grade A.
It's not
Um,
Minotaur though, is it?
And it
But
is beef, like a
It
hunk of,
is
like a
odd.
part of a leg of
Oh,
a
go ahead,
cow.
sorry.
Oh, I
Cow.
was just gonna ask, does the blood have any sort of labeling on it as well? Like, I know it can't have stamps, but is it
Well,
like
you don't know about
packaged
that.
securely,
No, I'm just
like
kidding. It's just
sold
beef.
to be, for production purposes, or what? All right, I def.
Seems to be packaged in a similar sort of production way. And you can see, not on all of them, we'll say, like, maybe you pull out one or two of the bags of, packaged bloods, and
Right.
there doesn't seem to be labels on them, but then you find one that does
craft
have
some
that
herbs and wrap it
BSP
around the meat
sort of
and
like
put it back in the
peaks
bag.
symbol.
It can marinate
Goodness,
for a little
season it.
bit.
Lets you know that it was certified on the material plane.
For a
Huh.
place that's supposed to be, if we're supposed to be on some type of shortage of meat, seems like he has quite the selection. And I'm a little suspicious about why they're just giving away holy water. It is quite expensive.
Okay.
I smell some type of nefarious deeds happening.
I'm not very
But it-
much of a holy person, but is there a way we could tell if it is actually holy water?
Or that forget-me water that they're probably giving away.
Or plague water.
That too. Bad water. I don't think it will be holy at all. No.
If I could just take some time to, and I hold up like the chemical journal. I'm like, if I can decipher some of this, they might actually be using a recipe in here for the holy water.
I think we should split up. That needs to be deciphered quickly. The empty waste paper baskets, the cipher, it screams spy of some kind. And the fact that he doesn't seem to care that he has a icebox full of meat right in the middle of a shortage, when he could be making a killing, tells me that this is not a merchant.
I mean,
No, there's something else going on. So yeah, you need to, if you feel that it will help, go back and see if you can break the cipher. Bring in anyone you can. Talk to the captain. See if he can find someone to help you that he trusts.
isn't it also a bit suspicious? I mean, blood, meat, cult. Just seems like if I was a dark cult of demon worshipping, having some blood and meat by would be pretty efficient.
That's true, but it could also just be his cover. I mean, meat is scarce on the Citadel. It goes for a good price. So, being here to sell it makes sense.
Or
Sorry, go ahead.
taint it.
If we could compare, you got ledger.
Ooh, that is a very
Maybe-
good point.
Maybe there was a little bit taken from every one, or if you even bought in the city, maybe we could. I don't know. The meat thing seems a little weird. I don't understand why it's important.
Check the meat. Aura just made a very good point. Make sure it isn't tainted somehow. Blood too.
I will get on. If you'd like me to go now, I can. I just, I won't.
I don't like splitting up, but it seems like the wisest course of action at the moment. Eric will, hand you his stacks of papers. Until you're back at the guild, be sure to put these directly into your bag of holding. We don't want them getting a sense that they're being moved or something. And yeah, Eric will give him all the stuff he took. No, he takes all of the books and such out of the bag of holding and hands them over to Thordal, like a handful at a time.
My question is, how many pounds of meat did I pick
You give
up?
him like your bag of holding.
Did I pick up 500 pounds of meat?
Like 50 pounds.
I have 100, 200 pounds.
100 pounds would be a lot.
No, like what's in the fridge? Like a few racks,
We're eating
like
good
full
tonight.
racks, like a
Like I said, check
half a
it
leg.
first. I mean,
You
I
know what I
want some
mean?
meat as
Like a
well,
part
but
of
you
a
just never
back.
know.
Like probably
I
like
mean, remember what we learned
yeah, probably
from
probably like yeah, probably
Lumio
like
and
70
Raya.
or
They
100 pounds.
apparently there was supposed to be meat coming up here
Right.
normally from Octos, and it just suddenly stopped for some herding problems. I mean, herding problems. What kind of problems do you have herding animals? But in any case, and then now we see this here. I think there's something going on between the shipment from Octos here, and he has something to do with it.
Right. I can get to work on deciphering this. I gotta stop at the library.
Great.
And I think I might head back to the guild, see what any more information I can get. Maybe I can have my retainers search out in other places. Stick their noses where it doesn't belong.
Vilya and I will stay here. Is that okay with you, Vilya?
I'd love nothing more.
We'll stay on the stakeout. And since there's 2 of us in each location, if we need the others, we'll come get you. Or if we need to move, we'll let you know, and vice versa, please.
Excellent. I'll try to follow up on any other leads that I have, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Right. I guess
Excellent.
meet you all back at the guild hall at some point, unless something horrible happens.
Exactly.
All right. All right. So with that, we will wrap up then with your plan hatched. Thordal, Aura, you two are going to go back to the guild hall, start deciphering and digging into some of the leads that you have. And Eric and Vilya, you guys will stake out and potentially sneak back in. To be TBD, but so far you're in the area of Seymour Scarlet Wound and the people that seem to be packing up and shipping out with some of their goods. So you can sort of see that there's just like an odd air about this place as you guys sort of investigate it. So with that all decided for today, we'll pick back up with you guys continuing down this investigation rabbit hole and see where it takes you. That you have several leads, and now you have much more things to investigate today. So thanks so much for playing today, and I believe next week we should still be on, so hopefully everyone will be available. We can pick back up in April.
Thanks,
oh my God,
everyone.
I can't believe
It's
it will be
been
April.
fun playing tonight.
April 3rd,
and
everybody.
yeah, if you want to
so
see me,
we'll
you can see me
hopefully
here
you
next week.
Here again, 7 p.m. again. And real quick, let's
Yeah,
say
it
goodbye,
was,
everybody.
really
so
fun.
we'll pass it off. Andy, why don't you say goodbye
Happy I
first?
found a thing full of meat. Yeah, you can find me. I'm Mif Trelongo. I streamed here. I streamed here today on Twitch.
Great.
Yeah,
Hunter?
get excited for next week.
Hey, everybody. You can find me at Zektown everywhere. I'll see you all, I think, this Sunday. You'll see me on A Tale of D20s
Awesome.
presenting. I believe we're playing the Avatar tabletop RPG, which is going to be a fun time. And then other than that, you can find me on Amateurish Productions. Tomorrow, I will be playing in their flagship campaign. And I think Thursday, they're going to scare the shit out of Ben. So that'll be fun to just go and watch. And you should also join that.
Hello, it's Omar Tailweaver. I may
Great,
not be able
awesome.
to be
Yeah,
here
lots
next
of
week, but
really
you can
awesome,
always
exciting
have
things,
Aura just slash
all
things
these
and fight.
fantastic
She's basically your
channels. And
generic
last but not
fighter.
least,
So
Omar?
if something like that were to happen, you can always catch me here on Tail D20s or my personal con venturing / cosplaying on That's So Omar on Twitter. And as Zeki had placed, has stated, Sunday, we are not having Descent to the Void, but we are doing Avatar Legends. And it's going to be basically a learn and play, and it should be super fun. And then the week after that, we also, because we have vacations that we're wrapping around on the 9th, we are also going to continue with that, or might do something else because it is Easter. So I don't know, Trav, you and I might be playing some Boulder Gate or something like that on that day.
Oh, right. Yeah, we'll hang out. We're not very big Easter doers here, but for those of you who don't really celebrate, you can come hang out with us. Awesome. All right. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate
It has
you
to
coming
go
and
to
hanging out
Aura
today. It's
because
fun
that
getting
was just
back into it and
fantastic.
seeing how you guys investigate.
And no,
I
I'm
almost
just
forgot
having a
before we
lot
go,
of
stars
fun
and
with
wishes real
all
quick.
of
Andy, who
the
do you want to
Cloak
give
and
your
Dagger
star
stuff.
to?
So
And
yeah,
any
just more
wishes
of
for
this,
next
please.
week?
I will have to give my star to Thordle because I love the whole grab meat. It's like he was with me and like fuck everything else, meat. We just
Absolutely.
want meat.
Omar?
And I guess my wish would just be, I don't know, I just would like some epic climactic like battle or something like that. Hopefully I will be able to attend if that happens, but I'll watch it and or experience it, so I'm excited.
Right, we hope that you're a part of it, but we'll see what happens depending on how the things
I will
shake
give
out.
my
You may
star
depends on how
to
you guys play your cards. We might have an
Omar
epic
for
battle
bringing
sooner or
up
later,
the meat
but
and making it a
we'll
fun
have to see how it
sticking
all
point for the
how
night.
it all plays out. Quite
And then
literally.
my wish, I
Zeki?
wish for us to get into some combat because I feel like it's coming, and I feel like it would also be hilarious for us to like not have any combat. We just do it like super sneaky, but I feel like it's coming. I feel like after that interaction with Aura and the dude bro, that someone's gonna get their ass beat, and it's gonna be super fun.
I mean, we all know the star of the show was the tree I talked to.
That's true.
I cannot
If I
wait.
had to choose, I would definitely say it was Aura.
Okay, last
I
but not
loved
least,
playing
Hunter.
off of,
Stars and wishes.
Meat is the biggest crisis that the Citadel has probably ever seen. I found that fun. My wish is, I as a player and Thordal really like, deciphering things, so figuring out this code would be really cool.
Awesome. Okay, deciphering the codex and breaking the chain. That's what. We'll make sure you get a taste of that. And I mean, it feels like that's up your alley too, as the alchemist. So awesome, fantastic. So with that, that's 3 stars for you, Aura. So you get a inspiration. I'll tap that on your character sheet for you, and you can use that next week. So next time you feel like you need a D8 and you should have had one, well, here you go. You should have had a D8, and you are thoroughly inspired by all of your friends and allies here today. So with that, we can wrap this up and pass on the love. I see that one of our friends, Balra, is actually streaming, so let's shoot her over our guests. So let me raid. Raid has been created. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. I really appreciate you all coming and hanging out and watching the Radiant Citadel with me and everybody. I hope you are excited and intrigued just as much as I am. And, oh, Zeki, I'll take that hydrate. that last sip before we go. Appreciate it. Drink it in. And yeah, thanks again. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and appreciate you again being here, kicking off your Monday right with me. And these
you.
awesome folks here beneath me. So I don't mean
Bye.
figuratively, I
Bye.
mean literally in the layout. You guys are all awesome, fantastic players, and I'm so thankful for you to be